Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grimreaper coming at you for another video for Raidshadowlegends. Hopefully doing well, and hopefully you had a fantastic weekend. Yeah, Sunday is here. It's a busy time for Raidshadowlegends Fusion going on and etc. Let me know down in the comments. Are you guys doing a fusion or not? He's kind of broken right now from what I've seen. I haven't done any videos or anything like that covering him. I will probably cover him in the future on the channel. And yeah, are you kind of worried about him being nerfed or not? I'm quite certain that Raid will nerf him at some point from what I've saw, but obviously that's just talking from about past experiences. Anyway, let's get into today's video. Today's video, we are going to cover two factions in today's video, so I will drop timestamps down below so you can go ahead and skip it. It just stops me releasing 3 videos in one day. And because the algorithm doesn't really like it when you post too many videos right on YouTube, so this is the reason why we're doing it for today's video. We're going to cover both factions in stage 21. I know a lot of people have had some issues on Dark House stage 14. I will do a video at some point covering stage 14 when I have some spare time to try and help progress you guys, say with High Elves and whatever factions you guys are struggling with as well. And then I guess today will be the teams that I'm going to be running. And then in the future, when I have a bit more time on my hands, probably outside seasons, I will start working on some free-to-play stage 21 stages. So you guys can pretty much just copy and paste it overall like that. So it's worth noting, in my Great Hall, we do have a maxed out faction wars. I would recommend, if you're trying to clear the upper stages and you have a very limited roster, then I would recommend to upgrade the whole of this. It costs 22,000 medals, if I'm not mistaken. Much cheaper, 1/3 of the cost of Hydra, and probably Chimera in the future. So that's how we're kind of looking for this. So yeah, let me go into the first one. We'll break down what I'm doing. Some of the ways are quite tricky to deal with, and how I'm kind of deal with it with my roster, and then maybe we'll talk about the damage dealers and etc. as well. All right then, so let's go into the first one. We're going to do Dark House first because that's where the gear is. I've only got about 30 minutes of left of the gear removal thingy. So anyway, let's have a look. So right now we have Lydia coming in. We have Eva, who is DPS. Lydia obviously is free to play. A Far Life Fane, free to play. And then we have Blindseer, who is for block buffs and the revive. We have we have 3 champions in 9-piece protection. That's to protect me against the waves, protect me against the boss from him stealing my buffs, and also to increase my damage on my DPS champions. Then we also have in Hivelord. Hivelord is just in here for control, as well as my Far Life Bane. My Far Life Bane is also in here with increased attack as well. So we're not using him as a DPS. You can use him as a DPS. I got quite a low level blessing from him, so my DPS will be Eva, because I just had better experience with Eva. She's been a massive carry for me. So I guess with Eva, there is a couple of, for replacements. For Blindseer, the closest replacement I could think of would be Caden. There is also another reviver, I think Spider. No, Spider has defense down and weak, and there's someone else as well. I guess you can use probably Cyrus would be the best option to replace the Hive Lord, because you can put her in stun set, provoke set. She's a really versatile champion, also one who can do amazing CC. And then Eva could be replaced with a number of damage healers. Ghostborn could do some reasonable damage. Foley. There's could be other champions as well that can do that, but you'll just need to up the stats. Maybe add a relic as well. So Lydia is a +4 fully awakened. She's built for damage. She's in a Chimera build, so you'll probably see some damage from her as well. So obviously we'll do some we'll do the defense down a weekend. The aim here is not really to CC, it's just a case of one-shotting the wave. We have got the champion unity, which is probably the hardest thing to counter on this. You'll see here, I will just open up the A1 because I'm going to try and one-shot the whole wave with Eva's A3. And you'll see here we do a pretty good job at one-shotting. Now we do have a Hex out there as well, which kind of helps with damage for some of the waves. We're going to use Lydia's A3. to counter one of the champions. I can't remember who it was. Oh yeah, so yeah, okay, so we locked down him because he has increased speed, etc. And well, he's just really nutty overall. Eva's gonna come in with that. She nearly one shot Sir would. Wish she would one shot, but hey ho, it is what it is. Then obviously we play that, and then I'll play the stuns because the stuns also does damage, and I know that we could take out Jingwood without activating his passive to set everyone else off right and cleanse them and allow them to do the shenanigans. So we come in and we allow them to do the stuff here. Obviously, the champion unity is still going to be an issue. The champion unity needs to be kind of looked at because like we've got like tons of resistance in this team, like Mafia Lifebane, Blindseer, and uh, Lydia all have above 550 resistance, so it's kind of disgusting. And how he's doing his shenanigans, so that needs to be looked at. And also, he can also land truth here for outside block buffs. Block buffs is there to kind of protect us from CC, and then we're releasing broken champions like this. And there is a handful of champions in the game that can now counter block buffs, and now can with the poisons. And there is a couple of more as well, which is a really broken mechanics, and it's really horrible to face in the PvE, especially if you don't have mythics or it's very strong gear. It is a nightmare. So we do release Eva, which is a bit of a pain in the bum. I have to play with RNG now because if I got True Fear there, I would have lost the revive, which would have been quite devastating because this guy is obviously really toxic overall. So you'll see here, block damage actually got protected on Eva from her, which is pretty nice. So that 9-piece protection really paying off well against these mobs, etc. So I'm working on the abilities now to try and get some abilities back, I guess. And I'm not too worried about the 200 turns because I've already completed that, if I'm being honest. But I did want to try and get the free stuff for the video. But after now, I don't really tend to care because I'm obviously doing a video right now, etc. So it doesn't matter if it's a 1, 3, or 2, right? As long as I beat it. I haven't tried mangling any stages yet, just generally because I just prefer to run them on mangle, because like you can run 3 keys at once, which I think is pretty nice, and it's like 10 minutes a time, so it's not too bad overall. You kind of get used to being a content creator, mangling stuff for videos anyway, so it's kind of a normal thing when you're doing takeovers, etc., that you're never having the pleasures of hitting auto. I know a few people have asked if the teams are auto, etc. I probably could get them on auto. Maybe that's a different video for a different day. You know, stage 21 full auto, whatever. I mean, the best one would be full auto, stage 21, free to play, right? Or free to play champions. I can't say the gear is free to play, but the free to play champions. But I've been playing this game for 6 years, so there's not much I can really do about the gear quality, to be honest. And I don't see the point of running underwhelming gear to try and clear stages where I'm sitting there for 5 hours trying to clear a stage just to make the gear a bit better. And I wish I had that type of time on my hands. So you'll see here with ads that basically going to try and keep them stunned, etc. The ads not really a pain. There's a removal buffs on the A3, so that's why we're running so many protection sets. And also from my experience, it's nice to have the extra damage on a damage dealer, especially if you're not running high level blessings. Now Eva's a +3, but only blessing level 2. Hive Lord is a blessing 3, non-empowered. Lydia obviously has the most damage increase. Mafia Lifebane is a +2, 5-star awaken, which was done in her Titan event, which was again a very free-to-play kind of thing, I guess. And then Blind Series, obviously a 4-star awaken. She could have been +2, but her copies have gone into Mafia Lifebane because Mafia Lifebane is just a better champion overall. The provoke doesn't really do anything here, but it's nice to kind of add strengthen and increase defense, etc. I would recommend to try and kill these ads straight away, because I actually forgot that ads pull up block buffs, increase resistance, increase accuracy, and block damage, which are really solid debuffs to have on a boss overall. So again, stops you doing DPS, etc. I've not really had to worry about bringing in decreased attack too much. There is plenty of survivability in this team, and that's why I'm only focusing on Hive Lord in his form, because he's going to give me 2 sets of continuous heal, and he's going to give me that stun, which is great for the ads. My Hive Lord is not booked. I'm not going to be booking him either. So, you know, it kind of is what it is with him. And yeah, you could try, I guess if you don't have Hive Lord as well, you could just try blast your way through the waves with another DPS champion, which is probably the main way to go for most people. This faction is great for support, but it's not great for damage dealers, a bit like High Elves, especially if you don't have any of the good champions or good level blessings like the Foleys, the Evas. I say Foley because I've used Foley on a couple of stages as well, but I only wanted 1 DPS here because I knew I had some damage on the Hive Lord and Lydia as well. And obviously, I knew I had the poisons coming in from Mafar Bane, and all these little bits of extra damage are going to add up, right? We got a 5-star Brimstone, which has a 65% chance to land on the boss as well. So, yeah, really strong debuffs overall. And there's not much really to say other than boom. Really lucky to not one shot. As you can see there, we got extra turn because of the 9-piece Merciless. So let me show you all the gear quality then. You see Eva coming in with a whopping 5.8 million damage, Hive Lord coming in with a respectful 800k, Far Life Bane coming in with 1 million, and Lydia coming in 1 million. You see there 6-star Cruelty as well, which I pulled a long time ago for her. And you can see I've been really unlucky. I've only got like 3 or 4 champions, a +4 on my account, and they are Lydia, Razin, and Yannicka. So a lot of all the 3 champions overall. So let me show you the gear and what's what on the account. contents. Let's start with the mythical. This is probably the only content in the game where I use Hive Lord. Overall, he needs a massive buff. Not a great champion overall for endgame players. So could be better. Let's have a look at the full stats. Obviously, we're coming in really fast where my head is overall, which will be 313 speed, 100% critical rate. We've got some critical damage at 224 and an accuracy coming in at 482. Extra 20% ignore defense. Respectful. Sorry, let me go back to this form. A respectful defense at 5,400. Speed coming in at 309. 100% critical rate. 211 critical damage. And then respectful accuracy, because this is the form that we're using. I do need to rework him just slightly because we're using a Far Life Bane's accuracy lead. You only need to roughly around about 475. I would try and aim for 500. So you just need to be tweaked a little bit. Potentially we can pump in some of these extra numbers as well. So I'll show you the gear that he's kind of using. It's kind of just mediocre. 6-piece merciless, so we get extra ignore defense and getting the cooldowns because again he's not booked. So he's not booked in any form. We have a 3-star cruelty. You can pretty much take a lot of things for him. Cruelty is probably the way that I would go for the boss. Then we have nothing then again, but overall masteries are pretty standard, nothing too special here as well. Again, you can see it's pretty standard for masteries, nothing too crazy there. If anything, the masteries are pretty bad for what we want him to do, but you know, I'm not going to spend gems and try and make everything look posh. Then we're going to come in with Lydia. Lydia is probably used in a lot of content. I think Lydia has become one of my most valuable champions, even as an endgame player for PvE, because she's in Hydra, she's in Chimera. She has a really strong kit overall. Obviously, Faction Wars as well. She was like the first one on team sheet. Then we have Cruelty. This is a build that we run for what's it called? Chimera, right? Then we're in a 9-piece protection. We're going in a speed of 356. Defense, attack, and HP very reasonable. 100% critical rate, 227 critical damage. Really high resistance and high accuracy, and extra ignore defense. Now, mine's a +4, fully awakened. You're never going to get these stats in a million worlds, and I could even beef this out even more if I wanted relic. I also have max guardian rings, so that kind of max faction guardian ring that's also maxed out. Just focus on survivability, on the HP and defense, reasonable speed. Again, the boss is 325. So I would recommend to go around about 330 if you can. If not, go about 320, 320, I guess, yeah, 320 or 325, just so you could just go before the boss, increase speed as well. Forget about critical rate, forget about critical damage. Critical rate's just a bonus. Forget about resistance in some sense because you do have a cleanser in there. And a 9-piece protection kind of does the job as well. You can always see that the ads do give increased accuracy, so that's something you would have to think about. And then the resist accuracy only needs to be roughly around about 450 because you're going to use my Far Life Bane lead as well. So again, this is a Chimera build that just happens to work for the boss, so I don't see the point of me toning it down as well. Then we have Eva. We have her coming in. She's my MVP for the faction because before I brought her in, I was kind of really struggling a little bit on this faction. So these are her stats overall. So we have 7,600 attack, 304 speed, 80% critical rate just needed, 350 critical damage. Accuracy doesn't really matter, and ignore defense is probably the most important bit. So the banner is only rolled up to level 12 because the HP banner. The gear is up perfect. It can be better. We're working on that future. No relic at the moment. But just running one of these relics would be perfectly fine, like level 9 or something if you want extra damage to help you get towards the stats I'm using. Then we have Heaven Cast. To be honest, it was just the blessing I had on her. We are using a lot of buffs, so it kind of works to give her extra damage. And then these are the masteries overall. It's worth noting cruelty doesn't stack, so just use the highest level cruelty overall. You could also run Brimstone as well, which I have on my Fire Lifebane, I guess. So then we have Mephala Lifebane. These are P vs E masteries that we run in dungeons. So let's start with that. And then relics, we haven't got any relics again. Blessing will be Brimstone again. Cruelty could also be used. We have a 9-piece protection. These stats are pretty awful, but we have reasonable HP, defense, and speed at 315, and then just enough accuracy and resistance combined to resist the waves, etc. And then we just need like enough accuracy to do the job against the boss with like the poisons, etc. as well. Then we have Blind Seer, who is recently been buffed. These are her stats. Probably could do a bit of a rework. The resistance coming in at 516. Now the resistance, I think you need, if I remember correctly, was at 525. So resistance a little bit low par than what we need. Speed coming in at 301. Good defense and HP as well. She just wanted to be fairly tanky. Now it's worth noting, if you're struggling to get these stats because maybe your gear is not good enough, you can kind of make this better through relics. So if you're struggling for damage, use the Mithric Tang as well. If you're struggling for accuracy, you can use Molten Deathbow. Just upgrade them to level 9. They'll give you like a big chunk of extra damage and accuracy as well. And then for resistance, I'd only have one copy of resistance, and if you're lucky enough to pull it, you could use the infernal as well. And then if you only have one or two, you can move them around. They're not so expensive like legendary and epic relics. So you can, sorry, let me go to relics. You can then choose to move around fairly cheaply. So you can see I do have one of the relics here that I use on some of the factions that I'm struggling for damage or testing. So for like an undead, for example, I put this on to see if the gemstone would help, because someone said in stream that the boss was immune to destroyed HP, and I was kind of thinking, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. That is mainly to kind of help out the purple boss, which is a really useful gemstone. It's a rare gemstone that we all get good, reasonable access to, which might help you overall. I will do a video, a different video to try and cover that overall. Anyway, so that is pretty much for High Elves. We're going to get the video number 2 ready, which will be Banner Lords. Which will be Barbarian. Sorry. All right then. So we have video number 2, or sorry, wave number 2, or whatever. This is gonna be the Banner Lords. So let's have a look what's going on then. Not Banner Lords. Why can't you see Banner Lords? Barbarians. I guess they both start with B, so kind of makes some sense. So anyway, let's think about the champions. Let's talk about champions here. So champions, we have Freya, sorry, coming in. Freya is going to be the increased turn meter boost champion, block buff champion, and survivability champion with shields, increased defense, and some control on the A1. I'm not too sure if we have enough accuracy because it's arena build. There is a relic there as well, I believe. I think it's the Pinion or something like that, so she'll receive a bit of extra damage as well. Then we have Cedar Drake. Cedar Drake is mainly in here as a reviver, but also the heals on the passive is pretty nice. And she can do a backup CC job as well if our mats is on cooldown. Then we have Turvolt, which is DPS slot. Turvolt can be replaced with any DPS champion that you have available that can do reasonable damage. There's a few fusions in this faction in the past that has worked. Obviously, 4 as well is also a formal fusion himself, and is in here for the DPS. He's in a 9-piece merciless, so he's going to be pumping out a lot of damage. He hasn't got no relic at the moment, but we'll talk about relics later. Then we have obviously probably the MVP, as well as 4, which I'll explain why I think 4 is more MVP than Armads. Armads is great for the waves, but when he gets to the boss, it kind of loses a lot of utility against the boss. Armads obviously makes the waves a lot more achievable. The next wave is still kind of rough anyway, even with Armads. And again, my Armads is arena build. So there is 2 champions in here that are really built for arena at the top end arena. You might not be able to get the stats, but you don't have to copy the stats as like me, because you don't need to run them at 400 speed, which they are currently in their gear. So let's start off with this as well. If anything, I think the 400 speed hurts me on our mads because we get too many extra turns, which slows down my run a lot. So you'll see here, we'll start with the A2. He's going to come in. We have a bolster set, which protects me against his shenanigans. So now obviously we're going to come in with a stun like I spoke, but we didn't land it for some reason. Turbolt's going to come in. He's going to basically look at one shot on the bot as much as possible. Unfortunately, my Turbolt is not that strong, so he's not pumping out as much damage as I would like to see him do. But you can see there Freya coming in with some provokes, etc., which is, I guess, useful because we don't want him to revive and slow us down too much. So I do prioritize the revivers when I'm killing. So we went with the AUE, then I'll go single in the future. So this is pretty useful as well. And then we will come in with don't know why I'm thinking so hard. I guess we'll go for the A1 there. And then we want to keep the sheep for the next wave, right? We don't want to use the sheep too much to make our life a lot harder. So Turbolt's just going to clean up, and then we clean up here. Wave 1, not really a problem for us, so there's nothing to kind of really worry about here. Ooh. Then we have wave 2, so Freya will do increased turn meter. I actually just sheep him straight off the bat because otherwise he will cleanse and cause me a load of problems, and it's nice to kind of lock him out on his abilities once he breaks a sheep. So I don't have to worry about his A2 and A3 for like probably like a couple of minutes, right? Now most Turbolts would be able to one-shot the Jingwood, but mine can't, so we're going to one-shot the Champion Unity, and 4 wipes out the wave. So 4, again, just so strong against waves, and he's great against the boss. He has like a built-in Stormcaller with that passive ability, which is pretty cool. Then we're going to try and work on getting my cooldowns as well. It's not too much to kind of figure out for this. It's just a really slow process. So if I can just speed up slightly. Okay, we can't. Okay, there we are. We're going to be able to finish her off in a second. You can see the extra turn from that. Again, on Peace Merciless. And yeah, it's kind of nice to have bolster, mainly because of the Shadow King champion. It's just really annoying. So I'm going to save the A3 for when he puts up this taunt or when the ads pull up continuous heal. I wasn't very successful getting the ads down this time. And I think last time I got the ads down because there's like a massive healing inside this boss overall. So this boss is kind of a little bit busted. It takes me a long time to take these waves out. Like I have like really solid builds and it just takes like a long time to get this out. So yeah, basically that's pretty much it. There isn't really much to talk about. This boss is not the hardest. He's a little bit annoying. But Freya in here really just doing them cleanses, bringing block buffs kind of counters all that and slows his shenanigans down, which helps me beat the boss. We do lose the Turbolt a few times, but we've been able to revive him pretty quickly and able to do it. So you'll see here, we're just going to come in with 4. 4 just ruins the boss. I know you need to increase force damage, but he needs the relic, which is at the moment on my Trunda. And I only have 1 of that relic as well, which is kind of an interesting one. But this might actually be a good faction to test out one of the relics I want to test. Okay, so there we are. There's the 3-star. 4 coming in with 9.4, 9.6 million, and then Turvok coming in with 3.3. 4 is AoE damage dealer, so it's really unfair to compare the 2 together overall. So let me show the full run. I'll let the full run play. I'll let you guys enjoy the music. Then we'll come back, show the builds, and talk about all the builds, etc. Alrighty, hopefully you enjoyed the music. I didn't play the Grim Reaper song, so hopefully a few of you guys are not gonna complain about that. So these are the stats. We'll start off with 4 because I feel like he's my MVP right now. So with the stats, let me move my beautiful face. With the stats, we're gonna come in with 6,700 attack, 399 speed. We have 378 critical damage. Now it's worth noting he has increased attack, so it does kind of help balance out the damage between us. And then accuracy coming in at 356. I don't really worry about my accuracy too much at the moment because we have Seed Drakes in there for the decreased speed, which is useful against the boss, but that might be something we might want to work on in the future. Then these are what we're using overall. Could be better. Right now we have no relic. We can run a relic in future. My recommendation would be the coronet because it's to increase the boss, but you need to make sure you have enough accuracy to land the debuffs. And then natural wrath for me would be the way to go for the relic, for the blessing. And then these are the masteries that we're running behind my beautiful head again. These are aimed at Hydra, and this is mostly his Hydra gear, but I'll speed up a little bit for Hydra. Then we have Mr. Turvolt, which is a very underwhelming build. To be honest, it's not the best of builds, but you know, hey ho, the blessings, etc., kind of really hurt us. Critical rate coming in at 70% critical rate, obviously, because there is A2. Critical damage coming in at 298. No accuracy required unless you want to try use weaken, and then attack coming in at 8,000 overall. No relic as well, so definitely can be beefed up in the future. And then this is quite useful as well. Phantom Touch could be, to be honest, I think it's better to go to Cruelty or something like that. And then these are the masteries as well. I guess if it's 6-star, you go Crush and Rem. Then we have beautiful Freya in here. So these are the masteries that we use on Freya. She's built as a tummy to boost on my account. And then you have Life Harvest for the blessing. You could take like Polymorph or something like that, Cruelty as well. And then we have the Guided Opinion, which is just in here for the speed and HP. And then these are the gemstones as well, which is for arena. I have played this without the relic on as well. And then for faction wars, we are 429 speed, good defense as well. HP is kind of low. Accuracy just happens to be just under what we require, so the accuracy would be 475, but it might be better to stack the defense just so you get bigger shields. It's quite useful against the boss, especially with the A1 as well. You can also try and get 9-piece protection to increase the damage on your DPS champions. Then we're also then going to come in with Cedar Drakes. So Cedar Drakes could go in a number of sets. Right now we have reasonable HP and defense, speed, and accuracy. Again, we need to be aiming towards 675 accuracy check mark, which is probably something I need to adjust overall. But you can see here we're using bolster set, so there's nothing to worry about there. No relic right now. Brimstone, just useful against the boss, and then Eagle Eye, really bad masteries here actually, but you know, hey ho, it does a job. I'm gonna spend 150 gems if it's doing a job right. It's pointless. There's no point looking all fancy wancy when you start champions use them like in any of my teams really. So great free champion, could do a slight buff because it's just been power crept. So one on ones, I guess, as an in-game user. Anyway, I guess that is about it for today's video. I've covered all the champions. Oh wait, did I cover Armads? I don't think I covered Armads. Let me cover Armads. Sorry. Armads, these are his masteries. Two presence for arena, pretty standard. One submissive again for arena. There's a lot of things you could choose. And then we have Sonic. You don't need Sonic. Stone Skin would be perfectly fine as well. And these are the stats overall. So again, accuracy overkill. Some extra survivability would be nice, but you know, again, didn't die, so I didn't need to kind of change anything. You definitely don't need to be 426 for this. If anything, if you're too fast, I feel like he's taking too many turns, right? Because he's already gonna get a lot of turns, dropping turn meter, in stealing, sorry, yeah, stealing turn meter and increasing his own as well. So it's kind of one of them ones and how you kind of look at us. So I guess that's it for today's video, guys. It's a bit of a long one. I do appreciate it if you're still watching to the end. And I guess that's it for today. I will be dropping live arena later. It might be already out before this video, depending on the thumbnail artist. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. As usual, guys, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be Grim. I'll see you next one. Take care. Peace.